Hey everyone, welcome to another great episode of the Smooth Business Growth Podcast, where we share 15 minutes of fast-paced, pure marketing strategies proven to move the needle in your business. I'm your host and Captain Lyndsay Phillips, and I am the founder of Smooth Sailing Business Growth, where we help busy entrepreneurs attract and convert customers faster through powerful and consistent content marketing. In fact, if you go to smoothbusinessgrowth.com, you can download your social media roadmap to help you do just that. So here's a question for you. In your business, do you want incremental growth or exponential growth? And I would hope that you'd say exponential. And Brad Sugars, the founder of global business coaching franchise ActionCOACH, has written 16 books and grew ActionCOACH to be one of the top franchises. In fact, it operates in over 70 countries, has more than 1,000 coaches around the world, coaching 15,000 businesses every week. Killer. And we'll be chatting about his book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat, to show us that we can exponentially grow our business. So let's set sail. Welcome aboard, Brad.
Hey, does that make me first mate for the day? Is that my job?
Yes, absolutely. Put on your skipper hat and come aboard.
Kick off the shoes and get going.
I know. We're just missing some margaritas, I think. Awesome.
Possibly. It might be a bit too early for the margaritas, but, mimosas, let's get started.
Ooh, yes. That sounds delightful. Diving in here, it's easier to believe that business success is a result of luck or mysterious forces rather than, careful, consistent, disciplined behaviors. What truly sets a company apart, like Amazon and Apple and all those big brands?
Well, it's interesting because I wrote this book because a buddy of mine who runs a very large company, and we wrote it for the startup right through to large, but he said, it just seems like magic. And that's why I sort of made a fun joke of the book.
Totally.
Pulling profits out of a hat isn't magic. It's actually a set system. And I always find it interesting that business people seem to think that it is luck and it's not luck that chef just created an amazing dish. There's a recipe, there's a formula, there's years of training, there's all that stuff. And, if you're in business and you don't understand or don't follow the recipe of business success, then that's going to be a challenge.
Absolutely. And, within that book, you talk about 5 disciplines of exponential growth and how they can help us get more profits. Can you share what those 5 disciplines are and how they can help us?
Excellent. Yeah. So the 5 disciplines is really about how do you get that exponential growth, that year-on-year multiplication rather than just a few percent each year. And so what we did is we studied the companies that were doing that. We looked at our clients who were getting that, and we said, okay, what are the same things? And we use the word discipline because it is that. You can't get it right once and then hope it'll stay right. You've got to keep disciplined in each of these 5 areas. So the first is strategy. Second is business development. Then we look at your people, execution, and mission. They're the 5 core disciplines that a business has to be doing in order to have that exponential growth and real bottom line profits, not just, good marketing numbers, but good actual bottom line numbers too.
Yeah, totally. And so can you expand on what those 5 mean?
Well, let's jump to mission first.
Awesome.
Mission is really about the meaning of the company. I like to use the word love when it comes to mission. Do your customers love buying from you?
Right.
And do your people love coming to work? If people don't love the experience of doing business with you and working with you, then mission is not really what you're doing. So we go in the book into how to actually do that. It's not just put something on the wall.
Totally.
Because, too many companies do that. It's just on the wall and no one believes in it.
I've got core values. I'm good.
Yeah. How do you actually make the core values part of the business on a day-to-day, even part of the recruiting? So let's jump to people then. And the simple fact is your people grow your business, you don't. And if you don't grow your people, they can't grow your business. And so I still remember as a young man, probably 20 or 21, and my dad, I went to him and said, you know what, Dad, I can't get good people. And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, Brad, in business, you get the people you deserve.
Ooh.
I went, what? He said, you're an average manager running an average business. Highest caliber of employee you can expect is average.
Dang.
Yeah. You can see where I got my motivational streak from. Thanks, Dad. But he's true. If we don't grow our people, we can't expect them to grow our business. And no one's ever outperformed their training. So in that section of the book, we look at how you recruit, hire, train, manage, lead, mentor, coach the humans, because your humans are either your greatest asset or your biggest challenge. So,
totally.
And that then brings me to execution, because execution is, whereas people is really about the leadership side of it, execution is more the management side. And I don't know what happened, but somewhere in about the late 80s, early 90s, management became a dirty word. And it's like, come on. That's why we've now got so many books on execution, because no one does management. Your systems, your training, your planning, all of these things, how you actually manage the humans in your organization, and proactively, not reactively, not like putting out fires, not that stupid, my door is always open, dumb stuff. It's like actual methodologies of management of humans so that you get the execution happening day in, day out.
I know. And that some people are naturally good at that, but it is a learned skill.
Leadership's a learned skill. People management, all of these things are learned skills. And if you're in business, and I meet entrepreneurs and executives every day, and they say, that person, they're just a natural born leader. No, they're not. They're a natural learned leader. That's the thing behind it. What two have we missed? Strategy. Strategy is not just about, we're using Facebook advertising. That's a tactic. A strategy is the actual core business model. What is the model of the business? How does the business even go about doing business? Like, let's imagine I was in the music business. I could be a drummer in a band. I'm still in the music business. Or I could be iTunes. Do you know what I mean? There's such massive strategic differences. And most businesses are built around, and I hate to say it, especially the smaller businesses, they're built around the owner doing the work, not the business working. And my ultimate definition of a business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. If you got to run the business yourself, well, it's not really a business, it's a job, and you work for a crazy person. That's the basic facts behind it.
I know, and that part is hard to master.
Well, people always say to me, you must be so busy, because I currently own 9 companies. I've owned more than 60 companies in my lifetime.
Oh my gosh.
I'm basically an entrepreneur. I buy them, I build them, and I sell them. And I run 9 companies in 12 hours a week. And people look at me and go, how is that even possible? I said, well, because I have the right strategy, I have the right people, I have the right execution, I have the right mission. And your favorite area, business development, the sales, the marketing, the customer service, and that stuff's, I won't say it's easy, but if you're only in customer replacement mode, it's actually pretty easy. If you're like, we just want to maintain status quo, we don't really need growth. Marketing's not that hard. All you got to do is make some phone calls, do some sales strategies more than marketing strategies. Even you just your outbound stuff should replace, but when you turn it into sales, marketing, customer service, all having to work in conjunction to get and keep, because that's the 2 main roles of business development, get and keep. Because we all know that repeat business is where profit is. There's no profit in brand new customers. There's only profit in repeat business. So we've got to make certain that we understand all 5 disciplines and use all 5 in conjunction to get that level of growth and to get that level of profit on the bottom line, I guess, is the simple thing.
And to sustain it. It's one thing to, do really well in 1 year and you kind of peak, but keeping it going.
Well, grow plateau or grow dip, they're pretty easy to do, because, you put in the energy and effort and then you get tired and it goes back the other way. What happens is, for long-term sustainability, and I have to implore with every entrepreneur and every executive that the more you grow, the more the business grows. If you don't grow, if I could be really blunt about that, the business can only grow to your level of incompetence. That's the reality of it. And the moment you run out of ideas is the moment the business stops growing. And that's where it is. And I see too many execs who, they just want to trade on what they've done in the past, and too many entrepreneurs who think, well, if I just work a little bit harder. No, that's not the way it goes. Business grows, business changes. And When 2 years ago I started this project to this book and sitting down and researching it all and putting it together, and we ended up with 392 pages. It's almost 3 pounds of book.
That's pretty hefty.
And the reason I decided to go full color print because sometimes graphics help people understand stuff far better than just the words do. And that just makes it that way. And so, I wanted it to be something that people would find easy to read, but also easy to understand, not just what to do, but how to do it and where to do it and why you do it type thing. Because we really are in the why generation. I mean, with the millennials kicking in and having to manage millennials, if people don't understand why, then it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I like how it feels very holistic, like you're covering all areas. And it's like, a car, if you're missing the wheels, then it's not going to go. If you're missing the engine, it's not going to go. Whereas
shouldn't we have like a sailing analogy right there? Shouldn't we?
I know. What am I doing?
Well, you got to get to the boat. You got to get there. You got to drive down to it. So look, I think that it's very easy in business to focus in and get caught up in one area of business. Yeah. And that's when profitability struggles. Because if you're just focused on the systems in business, or if you're just focused on the people, or just the marketing, or just what happens is we get so caught up in it that the other areas of business, and that's where being a CEO or that level of business person, you have to be able to step back and take all of it in. And it's a challenge because I find a lot of CEOs, they jump from pillar to post. They're like, fix a little bit over here, then they got to fix a little bit over there, then fix a little bit. It's not that long-term big picture, or as you use the word, the holistic viewpoint. There's a reason the captain is at the back of the boat sailing from the back at the helm, because then they can see everything looking forward. It's not, they're not standing at the front of the boat going, we're in the right direction. No, you got to look from that back. And sometimes it does take going backwards a little bit to see the entire picture.
That's a great point. Now, do you find it easier to, like, if you have managers in your company? Because I have a team there's 15 of us all together. Is it better to have an operations manager that oversees this area and then they report to you, to have that kind of organizational structure?
Absolutely. And it's interesting because there's supposed to be an antagonistic level in business. Like finance is supposed to debate with marketing. Because if finance didn't debate with marketing would just spend every freaking dollar there ever was. That's the reality of it. And legal is supposed to fight with operations. And then, there's supposed to be that, I wouldn't say fight, but there's supposed to be that level of antagonism where
bit of friction.
If you can't prove to finance that it's a good idea, then you obviously, it's not a great idea, or you haven't thought the idea through well enough. Or if you can't, and it's that whole thing of each thing, but everyone's got to understand how they come together, and there's got to be a level of communication that brings them together. That's where I think, even the most basic of management communication is really important for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like it holds each area, accountable to each other, so to speak, so that it all moves in the same direction.
Absolutely. And that's where, even the most basic of management, I see managers get it wrong where they ask the wrong questions all the time. Like, why didn't this happen? Who didn't do this? How come? Instead of forward moving, time oriented questions, like instead of why isn't this to the customer, what are the next 3 things we need to do in the next 10 minutes to get this to the customer? I use kids as an analogy because I have 5 of them, and I like teaching people with simplicity. It's like if you say to your kid, why isn't your homework done? The only answer you're going to get is some stupid excuse.
Oh, I don't know.
And who's the stupid one? The person asking the question or the person answering it, So and this is what happens in business every day. Unless you learn all of these 5 disciplines and become a master of them, the most simple way to describe it is business is never going to get easier. You've got to get better at business. If you want to be a better executive or a better entrepreneur, then there's no better place to start than learning from people that do this. And we coach now around 15,000 business owners every single week around the world, and thousands more executives around the world, and hundreds of thousands every month in our group programs. And the reason that we get so many is because we get results. We've been doing this 26 years this August. So It's one of those things where if you can do it and do it well, and we just opened in Russia, which is kind of cool. We're coaching businesses in Russia now.
Oh my goodness.
The tides have turned.
That is well. We were saying before how just being online, you can access so much more information. You can access so many more people. Create community, build relationships. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Well, you look at the whole the discipline of mission. That community that you used to build used to be just your neighbors, used to be just that. But now community is at such a level. And it's just like, and by the way, I want to say anyone who this is your first time listening to this podcast, Lyndsay, you've got to make sure you follow this. Subscribe. I listen to a bunch on the weekend and they're fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
People, but your community, I watch your community and the way your people interact, and it's phenomenal. And this to me is part of what this whole mission is. Can we build a great community of great business people and entrepreneurs and executives who want to help each other, who want to grow together. But every business needs to be thinking that way. Yeah.
No, I exactly agree. And we only have a couple minutes left, but I love also how you talk about, satisfying your 5 constituents, so to speak, like you can describe them, but it's not just you, it's not just your company. There's other people, in the picture.
If you look at all the stakeholders in a business, the community is one of the stakeholders. The staff is one of the stakeholders. The owner. So there's multiple stakeholders, and that's why the 5 disciplines really interact with those 5 core stakeholders. And you say, how is it that we build great community, not just in externally, but internally as well? How do your team feel a part of that? Because in this day and age, people don't go to work just for a salary anymore.
No.
It's if there's no meaning to the work they're doing, then they're not going to be there. And this is one of the big challenges that a lot of companies are facing, where they set the company goal and they go, yes, our goal is to make an extra $1 billion this year. Yahoo! And they jump around and dance about it. And every one of the team looks at each other going, well, okay, thanks. That's really great. How's my paycheck looking? If it's no longer just about a paycheck. A business used to be able to get away with that, but not anymore. People are becoming holistic, and therefore business has to become holistic. And if you're not giving people meaning in their work, you look at the amount of charity work done today, it's more and more and more charity work every single day by people all across the world. Why? They're looking for meaning.
Yeah, absolutely. And to help and serve and be part of something bigger.
And if you can't give them that at work, then they're not going to work for you for very long. You've got to be able to give people meaning. They've got to feel like they're part of something much greater. When I started ActionCOACH, I sat down and wrote the vision of world abundance through business re-education. And people are like, what does that even mean? How crazy are you? What is it? And then, but some people, I would share it with them and they go, hey, that sounds like something I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
You can't motivate people, but you can find people who are motivated to do what you're doing. To go to the distance, to go and follow what you're up to. And that's what I've always looked for. I mean, recruiting today is harder than it's ever been. We're in an economy where people are fully employed. And if you want to get a great one, you got to get someone that's already got a job. And again, teaching how to do that is part of what we go through in the book. It's very important to understand that the number one job of a CEO really is recruiting.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like people, they, don't want to do the drudgery of like the Flintstone days where you 9 to 5 and then you go home. They want to enjoy their day to day. They want to enjoy the people that are around them. They want to help people. So you got to play into that.
Yeah, I think that as business starts to learn the way of the future, and this is where I remember I was giving a speech in Dublin, Ireland, and before me was Lady Michelle Mone, and after me was Sir Richard Branson. And it was kind of like, have the Australian in the middle, the lady, the convict, and the Lord. That's fantastic. But I jumped off stage and shook Sir Richard's hand, and he went up, and one of the questions I asked him was, have you had to change, how has management changed in the day of the millennials? And he looked at the interviewer and he said, well, it hasn't. We've always done good management. I thought, wow, that's so true, that if you stay with the whole why we do it, how we do it, if you've always used the why we're doing it, how we're doing it, where we're doing it, when we're doing it, if you've always been that strong in explanation, then you really haven't had to change. But
yeah, nice. I love that. What a great way to end our podcast. So everyone, let everyone know where to find you and how Action Coach can help them.
They can find me on any social media. I'm on LinkedIn and Face and Insta and all of them. Not Pinterest, though. I'm not that crafty. You can definitely find me on bradsugars.com or actioncoach.com. If you jump on actioncoach.com, we'll give you your free coaching session. The first coaching session is free. So we try and help our coaches around the world do 4 hours of pro bono work every single week, helping business owners that need help. So come to us, have a chat with us, and let's see how we can help you grow and survive and thrive in this day and age.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for giving us a different perspective on how we can, get more profits and create a stronger, a more sustainable company. So I really appreciate the conversation.
Lyndsay, it's been a pleasure. You make my life real easy with such great questions.
Awesome. So this week's 15-minute cruise to move the needle in your business, folks, has come to an end. And thank you again for the awesome Brad Sugars. Now, if you are looking to achieve faster growth through content marketing and sales funnels, look no further than smoothbusinessgrowth.com. So have a profitable and productive week, folks, and may the winds always be at your back.